Okay, yay. All right. With no more further ado, let me introduce our host for today, Karen Pierce Gonzalez. Karen Pierce Gonzalez's collections include True North, Coyote in the Basket of My Ribs, Sightings from a Star Wheel, and Downriver with Lee Poe. An award-winning writer and visual artist, her work has appeared in numerous publications, podcasts, and radio shows. She is also a member of North Bay Poetics Steering Committee.
Okay, shall I take it away?
You shall take it away.
Okay, Anna, thank you everyone for coming out this afternoon. You will be delighted to hear Belinda read. She's an extraordinarily gifted writer, and it's my pleasure to introduce her to you. So I'm going to quickly go over a few bits of housekeeping first. I'm going to ask everyone to mute so that we don't have distractions while the poets are reading their work. And we're going to have a Q&A period following Belinda's reading for those who have questions for her. And at that time, I will put all of her contact information, and she's got a lot, in the chat, so you can cut and paste it and save it. And so you can contact her on your own if you want to pursue a conversation or whatever. Then we're going to go into the special guest open mic, so to speak, period after Belinda reads. And four poets have been invited. One is yet to come. He's in Scotland. I don't know if he'll be able to come in or not. I don't know what's happening with him. He's not here yet. But each of them are going to read for a few moments. And again, I will put at the end of their reading a composite chat with all of their contact information. So you don't have to worry about trying to remember how to access them. It will all be there for you, ready to go. Okay? All right. So with that, I'd like to open up the program and introduce Belinda, whom I met, I want to say last year, maybe. I see her all the time everywhere in social media. Right. And I had, look at that smile on her face. And I had the good fortune to submit some work to her and have it be featured on her blog. Thank you, Belinda. So, and thus began an admirer's relationship with her. She is multifaceted and multi-talented and multi-generous in the work and the attention she gives to other writers and artists. And for that reason, I think it's really important to honor her today and hear her own work. She is the State of Texas Beat Poet Laureate for the years 2023 to 2025. And she's probably going to work magic in Texas that nobody else can. So we hope. She is the publisher of the online GAS Blog, Art, and Music, which is a site that features artists, musicians, lyricists, poets. It's a phenomenal site. It's also related, it's an online digital site. It also has a sister site on YouTube, and that will also be in the links. She is the editor of the recently published anthology Border Beats, Writing Across Borders, which includes which includes the work of many, many writers around the world whose poems and whose prose address the concept of boundaries and borders. It's very well put together, and you can tell by the volume it's a lot of work. I mean, it's how many pages is it? It's like almost 200 pages almost, huh? I mean, it's a lot of pages. Yeah. So her poetic and mixed media art have appeared in literally hundreds of publications, including magazines and newspapers, printed and online. And she also has had her work appear in academic and small presses as well. Her writing credits also include editing and publishing Gypsy Literary Magazine, She also edited books by Virgin Press, among them Henry Miller and My Big Sur Days by Judson Cruz. And she also published Sanctuary Tape Series, a mastered compilation of audio poetry and original music from around the world. And in a few moments, I'll show you, God willing, inshallah, the YouTube I selected to give you a sense of how she weaves together words and sounds in a video format. So it's a hybrid, it's a mixed media, multimedia piece. Her most recent works include Left Hand Dharma from Unlikely Books. So with that, Belinda, I would like to open up, I'm going to share the YouTube of her, and then when we're done gasping in awe, then you can begin your presentation. So let's get the shared sound. Okay. Everybody ready? Because I'm going to hit the play button.
At a dessert shop called Soup, across from a Chinese store called Sam's, the over 50 crowd gather for animated vegetation, contemplating chocolate, sipping the unknown. Music leaks from the cracks, forms and morphs like wind, tingles human cloth, heightens, fades, passes as eyes turn inward, open to emptiness, closing to exclusive dreams. Attention expands as it narrows and shoots upwards amid the coldness and awesome quiet of space and natural explosions of heat and energy. Glow our dying stars. Signals seek recognition from the equator to the frozen poles. From the Big Bang and back to our radar ears. As we hear on the edge of silence, the ordered hum and the chaotic howl of the universe. Okay, thank you.
That
Very
was great. Is it
And-
still, hang on just a second, I'll make sure it's still going. Let me-
Yeah, it has credits.
Okay, I've got it. All right, okay. So without further ado, everyone just unmute for a moment and applaud and welcome our guest for today. Thank you, Belinda.
Yay! It's awesome.
And I'm sure you'll probably put up the link, but Belinda Superman YouTube, Belinda Superman, you'll find 168 videos. And you don't want to see them all, but you can pick a few. Okay, I'm going to start with 3 new ones, and then I'll read a few from some books. Subatomically, we are one. Each uniqueness is simple thread woven into the common cloth of life, holding invitations for lessons, expansion, blossoms, and spice. Holding similar patterns, a tree trunk and fingerprint, the eye in helix nebula. Interactions in galaxies like neural networks of the human brain, a tree and a lung, veins and lightning, elements made by stars over billions of years and star lifetimes, infinitely remaking itself, expressing anew, singing to the curious and nourishing rhythms of rain. We are infinite nature, not our egos and illusions. But we fight to our deaths as if we were. There is no winning in war. There is only a body score. Pandora plays Enya. Moonlight in the multi-dimensional tree is perfect through the guest house window. Music stops. Loud hyperbole starts. Free thing with this one. Best still ever. Get it now. Quick, insistent tone. An impulse arises. But I don't need that thing or the free one either. I save myself from another piece of junk. The tree watches with its wild, stiff arms. Some part of me climbs into its embrace and waits for music. Birthday passing through. In the Gila National Forest in the 70s, a light wind and a network of trees, I see a standing bird in a sudden glare. The flash is a reflector in the sun's rays, solar-powered warning of a single tree line on the cliff ahead. The standing bird is a fallen, gnarled limb, skeletal remains of a wind-tortured tree. The comfort of connection, our clinging to more, and a selfish forever that disintegrates, afraid of peace, prone to life, which is all we remember, afraid of the hum of the universe and no more adventure, afraid of disappearing, afraid of nothingness. The child inside clings, resists, but grows slowly into a gnarled tree limb, no matter what faith, a flash in the sun's rays, ashes in the wind. Okie dokie, I'll bring out this little book again, of which Karen has a small part. I'll just read my little piece in it. 4 a.m. again, and no sleep. I tried forest sounds, including a stream and an owl. I tried happy TV, traveling, remodeling other animals in their habitat. I tried counting breaths and soft music. I tried acupressure and the mantra, be here now. I tried silence and the static was deafening. Pills aren't working. My reoccurring depression blossoms in a toxic reality. I tuned into World War III thinking avoiding it was not working. And that didn't work either. Over 6 million refugees from Ukraine have run for their lives. My heart races for them as my body slowly disintegrates and the world as we know it explodes and burns. Annihilation a possibility. Night is too dark for sleep. I haven't put much emphasis on publishing books for a long time, though I do have a new one coming out March called Full Moon Midnight. So, but this one has actually been 4 or 5 years. So I'll read a few from this one. I'm going to keep track of the time because I want you all to have a chance to read. Clutching the Known, still available on Amazon. Silence is the only voice of God, Melville said. Hence TVs, stereos, mouths, industrial noises are always going as if life were busy work to keep us from knowing. In the end, it's all nothing, nothing we're aware of, not even silence. The voice of wind blows over one's grave, alone goes into a further phase. Who would hurry to a higher ignorance? Okay, thank you. There's some truth in this one. I'm a very strange bird. And oh well, here you go. Synesthesia and the River Song. Age 4, I was called by the wounded earth smell of a freshly trimmed hedge, the way honey sounds under a full moon breathing, my grandma's scent of polka dots. At the portal to fluid reality, my karma scope cast lights of glad kindness and legend seeping through me. I remember sickness, every childhood disease, and talking to aliens. Probably delirious with fever, but I remember there was magic in a mimosa tree and a belting for sharing knowledge of my anointment. They cut the tree down and forbade the utterance of anything not biblical. I said little for years, afraid of my tongue and shadows greater than my own. I'm past the noise of tidiness, posted regulations through 40 translations, and constant derailment of what I might have been without cruelty and jumbled senses. From tasting pain in everything, picked and dying, to now, it is the voice of the rock, not the river, I hear with cinnamon periscope eyes. And just happenstance, what I'm about to read is on the moon right now. A whole series, I was informed by the person who put it in his payload. He put a whole series of one magazine called Poets Writers. It has lots of art. And I just happened to have a piece in it. And he informed me I'm on the moon. And it's called Orgasm and Belief. Time is God passing through me with hurricane mirrors and the weight of sunshine. Time becomes photos in misplaced envelopes with names we've mostly forgotten. Remnants in a crumbling catalog, turning digital membrane, then glorious air jazz, searing the senses over flowering cacti and desert daisies, where the odd deer walk the wild beyond, where I can feel grateful, a sense of wisdom, moments of peace, where a memory blurred into everything becomes a light that blinds us into one, where random chime breezes breathe positively beyond orgasm and beliefs. Like God, you know, passing through me. Oh, let's see, alrighty. Beyond meaning, there's a seeming realness of grounded thought and an awkward fit of another human in our dream. We can share space and agree to be tolerant of illusion. We can agree to share some meaning in our lives. Meaning is the weight in our heads. It could be excessive rumination, the looped reels of life, or the invisible force behind our acting out, the dream that makes us crazy or calm, or sure of what could never be but is. Meaning is the assignment of the soul. We long for the fire of illusion that does not contradict our earthbound reality, but rides along on a higher plane, something that sparks the aura, tingles the essence, and sends vibrations through the cosmos. We long for the embodiment of love, torn between blissful numbness and the excitement of too much stimulation and weighted expectations, all for reasons we do not realize, are substitutes for what we cannot know. Classical Indian explanation, music. Past the hippies, past Ravi Shankar, eons before, when the first Asian snake came alive, stiffened with sound, through some empty shell, some hollow wood, some emptiness. The snake was not so much charmed as listening intently to the accidental flute, to that which he knew must be female, its empty insides calling him with breath music. And he joined in for a while, finding a range of sounds he had never heard. Then peace and a new religion, practiced in places where snakes are holy and music is written in his tongue. So I think I will just read two more maybe. This is also available on Amazon. This is mostly about my time as a hospice nurse. And I had a good friend die while I write this, so there's some things about her. And my own father died, and I was unofficially his hospice nurse as well. But it's a hopeful book, believe it or not. So this is somewhat abstract, but you still will understand it. Blue room. Wildlife flickers above the fan. A hummingbird approaches. A plane lands on the wall. A lace wedding cake flutters in the breeze. Buddha appears with light and stone. Ashes surround the pagoda. A book and a father lie waiting. The fame of love is framed above a door's encryption. A camel prances with a prince and a woman. Flowers are mistaken. A change of seasons bring armies and storms. A tall, thin bookcase holds a Moroccan rug down. An Italian bed holds up the dog and pillows. A TV is blind without birds. Tiny life takes over. 1,000 calls of night paint the mood. Thin caskets of words and sound slide into frames. Neon sculptures dip down from the ceiling. A hum of blades disturb the throat. Hands tilt upwards. Nothing can be said that is news. A corner is filled with mosaic nakedness. Santa sits near a fairy and a beer above a steeple in a bookcase of dreams. A folding angel hovers over flowers, a sweet but angry man. Kleenex unfolds and catches. The pink column of myth and wood supports air and possibilities. A tree lamp grows under mirrors. A woman meditates, floating. Her breast wears hats from many lands. Her crotch is laid with red tile. Malls thump the beaded sameness of a hat-framed lamp. A purple dragging across the room shines with amethyst eyes. Bugs and the dog fade as soon as light turns inward. A change of seasons brings armies and storms. 1,000 calls of night paint the mood. Nothing can be said that is news. And lastly, approaching the veil scientifically. Eyes like stars sparkle and die and cycle into new stars, new eyes. The answer is outside our window. Astronomers look for the beginning and find there is no end. Down to earth, there are frozen lines, winter trees, stalled cars, and dirty snow, sorrow over endings. The real world is through the window, infinite, ageless, though a clear veil keeps us distant. The soul of what we can never prove keeps us close. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. You guys want to unmute and yay, that was fabulous.
Wow.
Belinda. What a,
Beautiful.
Really nice.
what a gorgeous collection. I'm going to ask a favor of you and put you on the spot. I would like you to, when we're done with this secondary readers, for you to close us out with one or two more poems to get us on our way.
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to think about what I want to read.
That's because the work is beautiful and I'd love to have more, and it would be a wonderful bookend to have your voice close our time together off.
All right, thank you.
Okay. So I am going to put in the chat her contact information. And I'm telling you now so you can copy to your heart's content. And she's very accessible. She's easy to reach out to. She's responsive. And she's supportive. So copy the information that should you find you want to know more about her. So comments or feedback, let's open it up and you know, take a couple minutes, and anybody want to speak to her work or have any questions for her?
Oh, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. Your work is just brilliant. I mean, I want a basket filled with lines to pull out when I need them, because there's so many fantastic lines. And you know, there are last lines, first lines, in between lines, like God, you know, passing through me. Whoa! And the meaning is the assignment of the soul. Just every poem had something I tried to capture, and luckily a lot of people were capturing them in the chat. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
Belinda, what kind of programs do you use for your animation?
Oh, I do collaborations with people. Now, there are a certain number of poetry videos on my site that I put together completely by myself. But the one that you saw, actually the credits were at the end, and the music was by J.C. Roden, who does wonderful videos. And there's a brand new one he published about 2 days ago, and it has skeletons dancing to me reading. And that one's a little cheeky and sexy, but but if you visit my YouTube site, you'll see, and I have different playlists. One is collaborations with other artists and musicians, etc. And I also do a show occasionally. It's not on a schedule. It's called Gas Poetry, Art, and Music, where I invite people to send me up to 3 minutes of them reading their poem. And I try to help you out if it's something that you don't know how to do. I'll do a Zoom reading with you, or I'll record you or something. And sometimes I'll put together someone's art, original art that they send to me. And I'll find, like, sometimes I do some music myself, but I'm not much of a musician. But I'll ask another musician to send music, and then I'll have your poetry, and I'll put together a wonderful video with 3 different people getting credit.
Well,
And
that's great.
and I'll occasionally do this show where it's like 40 minutes, and I'll have like maybe up to 10 people with their poetry and expressed in different ways, as well as some original art and some original music. And when you visit my site, you'll see that. And I'd appreciate if you'd visit, and
Well,
subscribe. Yeah.
very creative, and I'm also a songwriter, so that's why I was interested in the whole music part.
Great. Well, I want to invite you all to do contact me with things. And also, I'm always looking for good poets and musicians and artists to either interview or present their work on my blogazine.
Magazine.
Yeah, blogazine. It has a lot of wonderful people in it. You'll see right away, you'll see a sample of the videos I do. You'll see a picture of Leonard Cohen with a friend of mine, and there's an link to an interview I did with him. And everything is alphabetical on the side if you want to see all who's been in it. And so people are invited to submit, and the directions or guidelines are
I can't believe it.
they're on the side, but I think you can only see it with the computer on your phone. I don't think it shows the sidebar. And I'm an old-fashioned gal who always uses a computer. So if you cannot see them and you only use your phone, I can send them to you.
I have a tablet. So
Yeah. And also I'm available through my email if you want to know how to be a part of one of the poetry videos, and just explore some of the things I do, and we can work together. I like that.
like that.
The
And of course, all these
information's-
books are on,
Yes,
YouTube,
perfect.
not
Perfect.
YouTube, Amazon.
Amazon. And all of her contact is in the chat. So I'd make it, if I were you, I'd copy it and
I
put
already
it
did.
somewhere.
I
Okay,
did.
thank you. And then if you do have a question or a comment, could you identify yourself first so everyone knows who's talking right away? That'd be great. Thank you so much. Any
Hey,
other
this is
questions or comments?
Yes, this is Kimberly. I was just wanting to know how much of her work as a nurse, especially hospice nursing, informs her poetry.
Well, in this one, quite a bit. These were all written around, even that strange one I read. I was going through really a lot of attending death. And of course, it's much more, it's all deep, but it's much, when it's real personal, like your best friend and your father, it hurts just as much as it does anybody else. And I usually when I've pronounced death and I stay and wait for the hearse to pick up the body, and if I've been with the family a while, it is very moving for all of us, and we hug and kiss, and there's a few tears because we had a very intimate relationship. And also there's of course new grief and all that. It's really helped me as a person quite a bit to give in that way, and I like to think that I helped some of my families, a lot of my families, so also in this book I've got a few pieces from, I've had many chapbooks in the past, like through the 80s. And some of them I put little, this is a few poems for some of my chapbooks. I worked at a psych center as a psych nurse. And so there is a section where I wrote poems about that experience. And then I worked in a nursing home. Before I went to nursing school, I worked as an aide to see how I would do in that environment. And I have a section, I think I included the entire chapbook in here, and actually was a separate chapbook that I won an award and a little bit of money through a place called Nerve Cowboy back in the 90s. So this will give you a good sampling. But and there's also a 10-12 pages that tell a little bit about my life in poetry. It's like it runs over a bunch of stuff, but it gives you a good taste of my poetic experience, roughly.
I'd just like to say I totally loved every single word you said, and like everybody else, just really very, very incredible. And I'm just wondering if you're reading anything specific right now that you can just so I can see where your head's at when it goes back into the poetry.
No, I spend so much time balancing so many things. I don't get a whole lot of chance to read.
Well,
But everything in life that comes into my ears or my eyes does affect me. And anybody's poetry I read affects me. And I do have Karen's book. What is that one I have? It has a bone in the title. Singing something in the bone. I'm sorry, I can't remember the title.
That's the
But there was
coyote. The
what?
coyote.
Yes, yes. About a year ago, I guess it was about a year ago, I just suddenly put up, I also have a group that everybody's free to join on Facebook. It's called Gas Poetry Writing Music. So it's all tied together. There's a group, there's a video, there's a blogazine. And in that group one day I said, okay, I'm going to buy some poetry books. Show me what you got. And I bought about 10, spent a bunch of money. And then it kept coming. Like people just kept on and kept on. And I even announced several times, okay, I can't buy anymore. Okay, it's over. But you know, for days and days, I got 100 probably at least people showing me their books. Of course, they were people that didn't care about my group or anything I did. They just saw it because it's a public group and started. But I'm glad I did it, but I don't think I'll do that again.
Like, cool.
Right.
Getting some great ideas.
So, so everyone just take a moment again, go into the chat. Here's your chance if you want to cut and paste. And also, you know, Belinda, before I think what I'll do is I'll maybe try to save all of the comments and put them to the side and email them to you in the
Okay,
chat.
thank you.
Okay, so that you can see them.
Yeah, you're sick.
Okay, Shauna, we have just a little bit of time left.
Okay,
for
I
a
just
quick
wanted
question.
to tell Belinda, thank you so much. I loved your work, and the video was just fabulous. I don't know why I'd never thought of the possibility of doing a video and reading your own work. My mind's like, and I'm a retired nurse too. I retired a few years ago after 35 years of med-surg hospital nursing. So, and I also midwifed, I call it midwifed my father as he passed. Yeah, really intense, and done a lot of writing about that. I'm just finishing up my full-length collection of my poems based on my work as a nurse. So I'm just very enthused listening to you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Let's have another round of applause for the Madame, the Texas Beat Poet Laureate. Okay, and now
Thought there would be a beat poet laureate in Texas.
what?
I would not have thought Texas.
There's one in many states. There's Jack Bedell in Louisiana. They're in many states.
Ah,
Yeah.
Well, let me just say one thing. I'm in the far, far corner, right? I'm like I'm less than 5 miles from New Mexico, and I'm a half a mile from Mexico. And so I feel more akin to that. It's like 600 miles to San Antonio, 600 miles to Dallas, 900 miles to Houston. We're our own thing. We're democratic here, and we're in our own time zone. We are on Mountain Time, and the vastness of Texas is on Central Time. We're
Fantastic.
completely different.
Fantastic. Thank you. So we're gonna
good
move
for
on.
you and good for Texas.
Yes. So we're gonna move on now to the special guests that were invited to read after Belinda. Finn Hall from Scotland is still not here. So I am going to assume that will remain the case. If he pops in, then we'll fit him in somehow. So the readers already know the order they're going to be in. We're going to start with Antoinette, then we're going to go to Anhvu, and then me. So let me introduce Antoinette to all of you. There she is. Antoinette Vella Payne is a native San Francisco girl, and she hosts a monthly poetry open mic, a featured poet open mic called 1428 Poets, and it's it's a hybrid in that a portion of it's online and a portion of it is actually in a cafe called 1428 Poets, right?
1428 Cafe. 1428
Cafe.
Poets at 1428 Cafe.
Got it. Okay.
At 1428 Haight Street.
Got it. So it's all 1428. I'm going to put her contact information in the chat once she is done. Actually, when everyone is done, so we don't interrupt the readers by having people go look at the chat and they can give their attention to the readers. But she is also, I am pleased to say, she's recently completed her first poetry collection. Yay! Entitled, That's What Happens When You Live on Haight Street. Okay, this girl is San Francisco through and through and through. And about that, I also want to add that she is a longtime partner or poet in the Sacred Grounds open mic community, which is actually the longest running weekly open mic poetry event probably in the world, certainly in the country, definitely San Francisco. So with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to her, and remember to mute yourselves while she's reading, and we'll save her contact information to the end. Thank you, Antoinette, for agreeing to be here today.
Thank you, Karen and Anna. And I'm just so pleased to be here and meet North Bay Poetic people. It's just really lovely. Here's my book. I just got a shipload from Amazon like 2 days ago. So you know how exciting that is. But I'm kind of shy, so I don't know about how this, promoting a book's going to go. I'm going to just read 3 poems from it. I'm going to start with 1,000,000 Skies Away. Last night, 2 great horned owls flew back and forth, testing my tracking skills, listening to their hoots in the same park every day for years. I'm learning nature's cycles, a new and pure perspective to grieve in various stages, trees letting go their leaves, baby birds fly away, one may be taken as a meal. Cycles continue on to the next season when a fresh batch of new shows up for view. Nature can never be as harsh as what humankind can grieve. Soaking in mineral baths, the smell of rotten eggs rises up to sorrow, devastation, death, dismemberment, modern day savagery inflicted on innocence while helpless world looks on. Another layer of evil crossbarred in the news, headed straight for the Holy Land. Victims turned oppressor group, like the great horned owls overlook, calling into the night. But this is war, he says. Is that reason enough to side with other than life? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
No, that's fine, Antoinette. Sorry. Could everyone please remember to mute? I'm hearing somebody talking to somebody else in the background. Thank you.
Thank you. And then the next one that I chose to read today is called Courting Feathers Caught in a Whirl.
Well, I always say, what in the world would I ever need this for, And I haven't needed it.
Is there any way we can do a universal mute, Anna? Somebody is okay.
I think maybe they just muted themselves.
Okay, great. Go.
Courting feathers in a whirl. I only want transparency, soft caresses on my cheek plucked from tradition, filled with promise, good fortune in the plume, scribbling of old, scratching paper. Certain things you just don't say out loud, like I love you to your neighbors or strangers. No one wants to hear Christmas colors meshed in the Easter tide of revival. Pastels gone overboard in deep blues, brushed against brown and gray and white feathers, the flounce of it touching ground, holding court, singing a holy mantra under the sheets. where warmth settles at night. She loves me, pluck, he loves me not. Bare birds blunder about. Dry leaves gather, I swim with death, feeling overwhelmed, coming up for air. I needed all your words today, this Easter time of revival, collecting sweets in the remembering of Lord Jesus, so close to God, the space between is lost. Save the swoosh of the air born here, where he is risen. Whirling wheels gather in multiplicity, stopped and static, listening loud. You're on your own, getting over petty illusions of exclusion, whirling gatherings filled in with tiny white daisies, clues dripping down in staglamites under the concrete bridge in the park, reading the tarot so that we do not talk about you and I in this season of passion fruit's decline. And then lastly, I'd like to read this one. It's called Stardust. Winter's darkness falls asunder, spring brings in the light. Ishtar's ancient name resides in me without ignorance or ego. I am determined to see, obeying no laws save nature and change. My eyes do not see the light. I am not a body, but what am I? Love and light essentially joined in spirit, housed in flesh. Everything trimmed in light glitters away the dark, shows what's hidden yet always there. Compassion's subtle shimmer radiates in my voice, my stance and stride. Curiosity brings worldly gifts, melons and grapes, sweet sizzling summers, rites of spring. When the wind breaks the sky wide open wide, there's nothing but the light. You and I, as co-conspirators, hold this dream to billow out under our flaming fortuitous fraction of time, detonated at birth. We are exploding stars. That's that.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Everyone, you can unmute and just show her your appreciation. It's a great book. I have to get a copy. Congratulations.
Wow. Great, great reading.
Wow, beautiful, a wonderful reading. Just a talented girl, Antoinette.
Well read.
Yes.
Thank you so much, friends.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your first poem kind of fits what's going on over there in the Middle East right now.
Yeah, that was the intention. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. So we'll move on to our friend Anhvu Buchanan. You got baby there? He is a brand new dad, everybody. He's going to regale as I hope his baby still.
Oh,
Where's baby? Oh, there's baby. Baby. Oh, so cute.
Amazing,
beautiful,
amazing.
beautiful.
So I no doubt he's going to be a fabulous dad. He's a fabulous poet. His heart.
Uh-oh.
Karen, you just went mute.
I know, I just saw that. Sorry, you guys. He's what I said briefly is he's going to be a great dad as much as he is a great poet whose talent is bigger than the state of Texas. And we know Texas is a big state. I first met this incredible poet actually through Sacred Grounds open mic. He was the featured poet. Antoinette, I think you were there that night. And his work, the everydayness of it was so beautiful. He captured so much that needed to be said. I instantly followed him on everything I could, social media. He's brilliant. I will put his contact information in the chat room for you. That's so weird to mute it again. Maybe the gods don't want me to talk on you. Maybe they just want you to read. I don't know. But anyway, so Anhvu is the author of several collections, including The Disordered and The Backhanded Compliments and Other Ways to Say I Love You. His latest collection, which is brilliant, The Peeling of a Name. is now out. He currently teaches in San Francisco, and I will put his chat information online. And we're so fortunate to have him baby in tow with us today. So Anhvu, with that, unmute yourself and show us your stuff.
Thank you, Karen, and thank you for such kind words. Thank you, everyone. It's been really an inspiring afternoon to be part of, and I just want to thank you for your flexibility. Now I might have a crying baby during this. I'm going to try to read one-handed while bottle feeding, so this is going to be new for me. But unfortunately, the just bad timing. My wife is sick, so I am she's not feeling well right now, so I have to do double duty right now. So thanks for your flexibility.
Anhvu, if we need to break and come back to you, we can do that too.
Okay.
So
I think we'll be
pressure.
okay. She's pretty good when she has the bottle. It's when she doesn't have the bottle where she gets
right.
Let's see. So okay. Thank you again. So yes, as Karen mentioned, my newest book came out in July. It's called The Peeling of a Name. So I'm just gonna read a few poems from that book. It's a collection I started 10 years ago. But a bulk of the collection was written during the pandemic. And a lot of the poems were inspired and spoke to what was happening to particularly to Asian Americans during the pandemic with the attacks and stuff. And so these first two poems kind of speak to that. This poem is called How Can Asian People Write About Love at a Time Like This? When a woman spits in your face, calls it a welcome wagon, when they tell you it's time to take your chopsticks and go home, when they slant their eyes, but can't you take a joke? When you become another trophy to put on the shelf, when they throw recycled cans at your head, call it a blessing, when they plant their flag in your garden and want it to prosper, when you are still a war that will never end, when they did this just for you, don't you likey? When your ancestors can't recognize the ghost you sent to the mirror, when they take your food from within the margins, call it harmony. When they tell you chinky is a compliment. When a man erases what's left of your story. When they dump a bucket of water on you, call it an appreciation party. When minority becomes model, becomes myths, really do grow on trees. When they call you a banana because you lost your mother's tongue. When they took you into the woods, tied you to the trees, call it belonging. When they try to write about love, but forgot the echo of home. When the burial begins and you can't remember the taste of air. When forgiveness forgets your name and you long for a metaphor that doesn't exist. This poem is called Somewhere and Nowhere. Two roads diverged in front of me and I took the white way out. It made no difference. There is no safety in sameness, no savior in the way I try to paint my actions into theirs. There is no safety in a whiter name, so I tried to walk among them, to sway like a ghost, to move as twilight does through the horizon. I couldn't find shelter in my skin. I couldn't find the way in or the way out. Someone pierced my eye and called it other. Someone, somewhere. Somewhere, someone, somewhere. Somewhere, someone is collecting cans and being robbed, being hit with brutality's broom, being pushed from behind, being sent out, sent home, sent away. Someone, somewhere is mocked, is taunted, is threatened, is burned alive in front of the eyes of a camera. I am a coffin waiting for my arrival time. Now, nowhere. Nowhere to move, nowhere to breathe, nowhere to stay, nowhere. Nothing to say when they buried their words in the back of my throat's memory. Somewhere and nowhere, we won't need eyes where we're going. So I'm in a month and a half now of dad life, and it's hard, as they say. And also, while I was writing this collection, I was reflecting a lot on my parents and their sacrifices and everything they did for me as a child growing up. And now, almost 2 months in as a parent, it makes me appreciate my parents even more so. So these next two poems are poems I wrote for my parents. So this one is an ode to my mom. It's called Ode to My Tiger Mom. You were unrelenting, All you wanted was perfect attendance, straight A's, National Honor Society, and a 4.0 GPA. All you wanted was an Ivy League education and a future in medicine or law. Nothing would stop you from arming me with skills, work habits, and a confidence no one could take away. I could never truly appreciate you like you deserve, couldn't appreciate your fierceness, your fire, that you would run through a brick wall for me, that you would fight for me in a language unfamiliar to you. All you wanted was excellence. You worked 2 jobs, then came home to drill me with math facts. Unfinished homework meant no dinner. A report card without straight A's meant the claws came out. All I saw was control, expectations no one could ever meet. I couldn't understand the language of dictatorship. You showered me with strictness, public shaming, your methods frowned upon by many. And yet it worked. You sacrificed your life for mine. You gave up everything to make sure I had everything. All you wanted was the best for me, to find comfort in knowing her child was nothing but successful. And then this is an ode to my dad, and it's to something that really brought us together. I don't know if anyone here remembers, but this is called Ode to Blockbuster Video. It's been hard to let you go. I grasp tightly the memory of your wide aisles and rows of opportunity. I don't ever want to lose that feeling of joy, of flipping over a movie and finding a copy still there, ready to take home. You took over our nights. You gave us all a place to be, a place to lose ourselves. I can still feel the yellow and blue, the dim lights, the customers gathered together, perusing and musing, all hoping for the comfort of a film to get lost in. I can still taste the microwave popcorn, the candy I could never have. You wanted to show us different worlds, show us the right way to live, be kind, rewind. Now everyone will net their flicks and chill without ever leaving their home. Yet I can't help but wonder where I would be without you growing up. My father and I could not speak in words we both knew, our tongues on different paths. Yet you brought us together. Every Friday night we'd join you, come as one. We'd pick a movie and find home on the couch. Together we sat and spoke. We spoke in the language of action and explosions, of plots dancing to the movement of good versus evil. Afterward, we'd laugh and say it was a good movie, even if it wasn't. And my father, like you, would always remind me, don't forget to rewind. You are gone now, but I can still hear your words whispering on my ear. Be kind, rewind. You can always rewind. You can always begin again.
Wow, fabulous.
And just a really quick poem. This is my last one. It's the first one in the collection. And again, thank you for having me, everyone. This poem is called No, Nothing Left to Say. But you're so good at math, you can't drive, you karate chop, you are chopsticks and rice bowls, but why are there fish heads in your soup? You're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, you bubble tea, you boba, you bow to say hello, you Hello Kitty, you take off shoes at the door, you rice cook, you know how to play the piano, the violin, the cello, you race cars in your Honda, you animate your food smells, but do you really eat dog? You are a virus, you red face when you drink, you gamble, you glow, you karaoke, you never knew your parents' love, you hold up peace signs in photos, you squat, you don't want tan skin, so you run from the sun, you travel just for the photos, you have a small penis, you're a submissive, you're a fetish, you're a kung fu, you're a kung flu, you're a history can't escape. You look like you're 12, but why are you so skinny? You're slanted eyes. You orient, you oriental. You can never win. You laundromat, you nail salon, you joy luck club, you sushi, you lotus blossom. But do you really, dog? You can't speak English. You listen, but are you listening? You, yes, you. You need to go back to your country. Thank you.
See why we had to have him with us today? This particular collection is really enlightening and that's a small expression for the work that you produce. Thank you, everyone. Unmute and do what Nancy Murphy just said in chat. Wow, oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Excellent.
Excellent. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh my
Yes.
God.
Great energy. Great energy.
So we'll save our questions and comments till we're totally done here, if you guys are okay with that, so we can make sure everybody gets their time and we can get at least one more poem in from Belinda.
And I believe that
I can what?
Next, right?
What?
Aren't you up next?
Oh yes, sorry. Yes.
Right.
Yes, I am.
Get
Sorry,
yourself.
I have three to read. One is an older poem, but it feels fitting, giving the topic of life, war, and death.
You've gone mute again.
So weird. I say the gods are just, maybe they just want me to quit talking. I don't know. But I'm not having any of it. Okay, I'm a free will, free choice person. Okay. This poem, God willing, Afghanistan evacuation 2021. Based on this Pashtun proverb, youth will have its swing. Youth will have its swing, then will swagger into adulthood on those same legs. Will carry family burned and beaten by decades of war to the Kabul airport and swim relentless in a sea of inshallahs. Prayers to be airlifted from home before limbs age, bend and buckle, before skin sags with stories of back when mountain goats plentiful were easy to catch.
You're muted.
So bizarre. I'm not even. Okay. Sea stars. My hands are here, guys. Blue waves of regret wash over childhood seaside where we make castle forts, capture starfish, leave them to brittle in sand prisons, and cry when they break apart in our hands. My last poem, which I'm excited for because I just learned today. I was invited by the editor of Broken Spine Press in the UK. He's launching a new journal, and he invited me to submit some poems, and this is the one he's going to use in the publication. Olmec Crocodile Sapakli. 1. Tricked out of the primordial sea with promises of divinity, by 4 gods of direction, I was birthed from water into beast, scraped against craggy rock beds, cracking open the blisters of having been forced to fall apart for your forests, peaks, and valley floors flat enough to build god temples on. Mouth open, my reins anoint the top of your bobbled heads. Dilute appetites wet for more ferocious shorelines of day until only shadowlands exist on a battlefield of reptilian desires spawned in brainstems that don't blink at the sight of spilt blood. 2. Midair, I dream swim an ancient ocean behind a steel blue rack of sky. Torn leg joints leak brine, unable to wash wounds clean. I am fettered against my will with you in a twisted jute net sewn onto my leathery hide. Tasked to raise your heaven up by the roots with my curved teeth, still longing to bite into plankton mud, I tire. Turn my thick skeletal back on the deities you pray to. 3. I seal my eyes and lips to stop the slide of tears from becoming a flood. I do not want to drown the yellow marigolds sprouting from the ribs of my webbed feet. Without asking, you pluck them for altars the first day of each lunar lit multi-year cycle. Such stealing singes. Your fingertips grasp for stems of hope that endlessly I will help you out of the muck you keep making by wanting more than you can have. A broken core I cannot fix. Thank you.
Wow. So everybody off mute and let's clap. Yeah. Woo! Good night for everybody. Wow.
A great group of people. I am going to put in the chat now the contact information for the 3 special readers. There it is for everyone if you want it. And yeah, so please take a moment to cut and paste all of the contact information you feel you would like to have now, because when I ask Belinda to read again, we're going to give her our full attention.
Okay. In a sense, these might be subtly political, because we all know how religion, especially Southern Baptist religion, has been let's
just give people just a couple seconds more to cut and paste, and then launch yourself. Launch yourself into the world of North Bay Poetics. Okay.
I don't see Annette.
Hers is, it's all here. It's all, should all be
here
there.
it is. Okay,
Yeah.
here it is. Mine's working slowly today.
Okay.
I'm going to put the
you want me to put your information in again, Belinda?
no, I'm going to put the email where you can send me 5 poems to choose from, and a short biography, like 200 or less words, and a headshot. And
well,
that's
on the blog zine, right? All that's on the blog
but
zine.
You can't see it on cell phones. You can only see it on a regular computer. It cuts it.
Okay, that's fine. If you want, I can just put it all, because I have it all lined up ready to go in the chat again.
Okay.
So people can do that, so you don't have to worry about that. Let me get to my screen and do that for you.
I saved the chat. I clicked the save chat, and it should come with the video.
Exactly.
Which
so everybody, I'm putting in again all of Belinda's contact information. You are definitely going to want to cut and paste. Okay.
And
their blog is there and everything.
Yeah, the blog, actually, I have a misspelling in it. You had spelled it right, but when I set it up, I've got 2 letters in it was my dyslexia kicking in. So if that doesn't get you anywhere, put it in a search and it'll pop up, you know.
Got it. All right. Okay, perfect. Okay, is everybody ready to have Belinda give us one for the road?
Yeah.
Hey, girlfriend.
Well, I was one enough. One is short, and I've got
well, we only have a couple minutes left, so I just want to make sure that we don't you know,
we're good. We have 7 minutes.
Right, but there's always a couple of questions or comments afterwards. I want to make sure it works for everyone. Well, you can do one longer one if you want, Belinda.
No, I'll just do this one.
All right.
And this was actually published in in a collection of signed poetry by 5 poets, including Lawrence Ferlinghetti and Hirsch. What's his name? Anyway, Beat Poets. So I was honored to be part of that. Anyway, okay. Buckling the Bible Belt. I pledge allegiance to my hillbilly past, cheap fan motor buzz, black dirt harshness, inbred bullies, and bigotry. Winter baseball. I'm hearing a lot of noise.
Yeah, somebody's still on. Everyone, please check your mute. And Belinda, go ahead and start again.
Okay. Buckling the Bible Belt. I pledge allegiance to my hillbilly past, cheap fan motor buzz, black dirt harshness, inbred bullies and bigotry, winter baseboard board rumbles heat and thin walls of fear, walls that work as refuge, enshrine weakness with corporal punishment in tombs of shame, echoes down a backwards hall, require humility and magic prayer as earth boils and fumes in science. Reason is a devil's turd as we eat the flesh of white Jesus and drink his blood, crackers and grape juice with guilt and submissive independence, whirlpool around inherited drains, one slang language misunderstood, bucked up with guns, and ambivalent Bibles for all. Amen. That's it.
Okay, let's give a round of applause to everyone, to our featured poet, Belinda Superman, to our special guests, Anhvu and Antoinette and myself, and to the rest of you for being the reason that we're here. Okay, and to Anna, who actually, co-founded or basically got this baby.
Oh, I founded it.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we have probably a couple minutes left. Does anyone, I don't know how much time we have, but maybe just one question, because some people have to go. Looking here, text Finn never, it's too bad we didn't hear from Finn in Scotland. He's a brilliant poet, but Kian Sabe, who knows? Who knows how these things work anymore? I mean, it's the ambivalent Bible, probably. What?
I just want to ask Anhvu the title of the last poem that he read.
It's called No, Nothing Left to Say.
Really nice.
I mean, that whole collection is just such an introduction to, for those of us who aren't Asian American, to what the experience is like in this country. So I think it's important to be aware of it, and he does a beautiful job.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Thank you, everyone. That's so
Got
good.
goosebumps when you were reading Anhvu. It was really wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm getting on Amazon right now and ordering my copy.
Right on. Right on.
Thank you.
And
It'll go right to diapers.
Which you'll go through quickly.
I think Belinda's poems and this last poem it had the same effect. The goosebumps, not the good goosebumps, the horror goosebumps.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a few like that in here.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's called Left Hand Dharma, New and Selected Poems, and on Amazon, and some other places.
I have to get.
Hey, everybody, I think that might be it. I want to thank our special guests for being so willing to accept our invitation. And of course, you, Belinda. Okay.
You, Belinda.
Well, and thank you. It's been an honor to be here with y'all and to read and to listen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May I say, beloved Belinda? Thank you.
Oh, there you go. And Anna, there, if you want to be kept apprised of what North Bay Poetics is doing, Anna did put in the chat earlier, right, Anna, a link to people if they want to be put on the announcement list?
Yeah. It's the info at northbaypoetics.net. That comes to me. If you ask me to get on the list, you'll be put on the list. If you'd like to be invited into the group's IO, that's the same thing. And if you have comments, suggestions, you want to be a featured reader, you want to suggest a featured reader, any communications, send it on.
I'm gonna put it in the thing here for people, okay?
Okay.
So they can copy it. I mean, just so much easier than trying to remember. We're just on overload with so much these days. All right.
And I'll be putting out all the anthology through the main list, through the IO, and it will go up onto the website as soon as I connect with my webmaster, and he's got a moment to do it for me. He's a volunteer.
As we all are, right? God bless us. Yay for volunteers, right? Well, you know that, Antoinette. I mean, we all know that one, right? God blesses every one of us.
That's right. God blesses every one of us.
Yeah. So, I think at this point we are at our close. And blessings to everyone. Stay safe. And we hope to see you somewhere on the poetic highway sometime in the near future. And
Exactly.
Anhvu, a little special kiss for your baby, huh?
Exactly that too. And I want to
Okay.
and spit back at them when they spit at you.
Oh, so cute.
Oh, baby, look at that.
What's her name? Unmute.
Elliot, but we call it Ellie.
Elliot, I like that.
Yeah, she's a cutie, but got the tiniest little feet.
Yeah.
She's
Little
beautiful.
How old
Tiniest little
is
feet.
she?
Huh?
How old is she?
She's a month and 2 weeks.
Oh my. Well, no wonder she has.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, everybody, I think we're gonna close. It's been swell, as they say, and here's to more, and here's to staying safe. And look at Shauna's wave from Forestville. Looks like she's on a glamour show or something, you know?
Bye. Thanks,
Hey,
everybody.
everyone, thank
Bye.
you for
Bye,
being
Anna.
here.
Thank you,
Ciao.
everybody. Great readings.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Hi.
Hi, lovely to